All right, friends, this week we are talking about the secret sauce to success. And I know that sounds clickbaity, and I did that on purpose. We hear all the time that there is some kind of secret out there that we need to pay for in order to be successful. Whether it's authors hearing it, YouTubers, creatives in general, or just like human beings attempting to live, right? We're always looking for this big secret that will mean we're successful in whatever it is we're doing. It's a trap that I have fallen into multiple times. I completely admit that. I have tried to time block and Pomodoro method my way out of things that cannot be solved that way. As helpful as those tools are, I've tried to like productivity my way past things that required me to rest instead. And that's kind of the thing. We are oftentimes so busy trying to find this secret sauce that we're ignoring our needs. Humans are not machines. We cannot produce our way out of problems, and yeah, sure, we can sometimes lean into the grind and have to in order to get things done. But success really doesn't have that much to do with working ourselves to death, which is one of the things we tend to do in this world. As an author, I look around me and I see all of this advice coming from like just everywhere. It's coming slamming out of the woodwork at me. And some of it's good, some of it's awful. And even the good stuff is oftentimes misapplied or thrown at the wall until it becomes law rather than useful insight, like, the people who hate adverbs and say you should never use any, or nothing but said is a dialogue tag, like, ugh. There's the rapid release fad that's going on right now, and yes, rapid release is a fad. There are some people who can do it consistently long term, but collectively, like this whole bubble, it's starting to collapse because it's not a sustainable model. And there's marketing techniques that will work for a short time or a specific platform or environment until the algorithm changes, and a million articles on how to get rich quick doing what we do, and none of it works. And at this point, if you're here, I'm sure you're wondering when I'm going to try and sell you something. Like, when in this whole talk am I going to try and pitch you my thing? And honestly, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm not trying to sell you a course. If you want to buy my books and publishing, cool, but that's great. I'd love it. But I'm not gonna tell you that that's some kind of magic fix it button that you can push. Because it's not. The reality is, there is no secret sauce. Anybody who's known me for a while, or you've heard me talk, or you've listened to the podcast, or watched my channel, you're gonna know that I say that a lot. And it's true. If there is a secret sauce, that sauce is hard work, research, and investing in yourself and your career. That's the only secret sauce I know of. When I say hard work, though, I don't mean just like running yourself ragged into the ground. I mean like an appropriate application of effort. This can be dedicated to training, to practicing, to sitting down and doing the thing. When I was recovering from shoulder surgery in 2022, physical therapy was a lot. I had a capsular plication and interval closure, if you want to know the exact surgery done. And it was because my shoulder ligaments were just done with life, and my shoulder was dislocating in my sleep. If I moved wrong, it just slid out and it gave up. And that is a pretty heavy shoulder surgery. It was a lot. And during physical therapy afterwards, I was in physical therapy for 6 months after the surgery. And I worked really hard. I applied myself, I did the exercise, and I did the same thing at home too. Like, I did the exercises at home. And if I hadn't been focused on doing those things well and consistently and long term, my recovery time would have been a hell of a lot longer than it was, and I probably wouldn't have the function that I have now. That dedication to the daily practice and exercise meant that I was able to recover enough that I can play violin again, which is really important to me, and I can fence, which is also really important to me. Those things were both activities I couldn't do anymore because of the shoulder trouble. That also meant, though, like the hard work piece came with understanding that sometimes the hard work was not pushing myself further. It included knowing when I had to slow down, take it easy, give myself room to breathe. It wasn't just about, like, adding weight until I collapsed. It was about applying that work ethic to the proper things in the right way, which kind of leads me into the next part of this, which is research. I know research isn't entirely the correct term, but I'm putting all kind of study and listening to wisdom from others in this category. Whether you're listening to medical advice or a coach of some kind, or working with other professionals whose focus is the thing you're trying to accomplish, it all counts toward this research category of effort. And in order to do this, in order to succeed, honestly, you need to understand a lot about yourself and about your field. You just have to. As an author, I am constantly talking to other authors about market trends. I'm observing what is going on in the world of sales. I'm keeping my eyes on the moves the big publishers are making a lot of the time. I'm learning more about my craft. I'm reading professional development books, like Networking for Freelance Editors by Brittany Dowdle and Linda Ruggieri, and the Chicago Guide for Freelance Editors by Aaron Brenner. Those are currently like on my desk or in arm's reach here of my desk, and I'm reading them and rereading them and annotating them yet again. And I have shelves of books for authors on everything from like marketing and publishing stuff to police procedure and poisons to fantasy world building, character motivation. I've read all of those books cover to cover many times. And I keep them now as a reference for other people. Or if I need to, like, where did I read this? I'll grab it off the shelf. But, like, those books are dog eared and highlighted all to hell. And that is an important part of this. And studying the things that you're trying to get into requires that hard work I was talking about. Like, the more you know about it, the better your chances are at succeeding. And that study kind of leads us into the final part of this conversation and this final piece of the discussion this week around what the secret sauce is, right? That's investing in yourself. And yeah, spending time researching and putting sweat equity into a thing is really important, but you're only going to make so much progress until you actually start throwing money at the thing, unfortunately. That isn't to say that you should spend money willy-nilly on random things that don't matter, but or that time and energy are worthless. But unfortunately, there's kind of a point where you're going to hit a plateau unless you invest money into things like hiring professionals to do certain elements of your book, or hiring somebody to coach you or educate you, or do the work for you if it's something you can't do yourself. Like, I'm at this point in my career myself. I'm not just telling you to do things that I'm not willing to do. I've spent a long time studying the craft of writing, studying the business of marketing, studying copywriting to do my own back cover text. I've studied cover design to understand those pieces. And just because I know those things doesn't mean I can do everything myself. I'm a professional editor. I still have a professional editor look at my books because I can't do everything on my own. Just because I know those things doesn't make it more feasible for me to do it by myself. There's the real fact that I can only do so much of all of that while also being able to write and edit and do the parts of my career that are the things people are hiring me to do or buying the books that I have written without creating those things. But if I also have to spend all of my time and energy doing all of the business stuff alone, it's going to be a problem for me. Like, it's proving to be a problem for me. That's one of the reasons why I haven't sent out an actual newsletter in too long, and we're not going to make eye contact with that one. Like, the reality is you're going to start hitting a point of diminishing returns in what you can do alone without buying tools. So you buy software. Like, I just renewed my Perfectit subscription. Shout out to the editors if you know what Perfectit is. I've had to purchase things, like I recently bought the Ultimate Brain collection for Notion because a friend of mine suggested it, and it has really helped me organize all of this stuff. There's all kinds of things, or hiring outside professionals to pick things up that I can't do myself. And that's honestly one of the secrets of success, so to speak, that's only available to people who have the means to do it. And that's one of the major hurdles that a lot of us face, is eventually you're going to need some outside support. You're going to need to hire somebody or purchase things in order to continue your goal. And knowing when or if you can invest in yourself at that moment is all about understanding your personal financial situation and your financial realities. You can do it in small ways, like buying things piecemeal, like my streaming and podcasting setup I have purchased piecemeal over time. My office computer is a recent addition. Like, I'm doing things a little bit at a time as I can, rather than trying to do it all at once. Or it's, you can do it in many ways. I'm also going to be, there's a point where you can just hit a spot and say, screw it, I'm hiring somebody. And depending on where you're at, you can only do so much without that mentality, because at some point I'm going to need to hire somebody to help me with my marketing and take over my marketing stuff, because frankly, I can only do so much. And if I'm spending all that time marketing and really dedicating to all of that, I'm not writing my books. I'm not editing the books that people are bringing to me. I'm spending my time focused on things that aren't that, which means that I'm not putting the time and energy into the things that are what I'm trying to accomplish. That's not me trying to be gatekeepery about this, to be clear. I am not rolling in money by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not telling you that you have to give up if you can't spend a fortune on all of this, because that isn't true either. You can do things economically and spend your money wisely, but you are going to have to eventually spend money. You just have to do it judiciously and on the right things. The final thoughts I have on this is, if there is no secret sauce, and it's all hard work and investment and time and research, what does that mean for you? Honestly, it's kind of more of a message of hope than anything. Sure, there isn't a secret or a shortcut or a hack that will take you from being nobody to a New York Times bestseller overnight. It doesn't exist. But that also means that if you really dedicate to this, you can get there. You can move toward your goals without needing to know some kind of secret that the world is keeping from you. The lack of this secret sauce also means you can avoid spending money on people trying to tell you that there is one. Like, pay professionals. Legitimately, pay professionals. They're important. People who know their stuff. Folks like Russell Nolte or The Writing Wives. My gosh. Jill and Mal Cooper. Sorry, my brain just deleted that. Quinn Ward, Tammy Labrecque, Jen Paula. These people really know their stuff, and they're worth investing in. A lot of them sell courses or materials that you can buy. Like, I've gotten books from most of those people. In fact, I think almost everybody on that list, I own at least a book on my bookshelf from them. And that's an investment. But they don't actually have, like, secrets that they're keeping from you in any of that material. And I know that because these people are my friends. Like, I talk to them on the regular. They're people I interact with and know. The only secrets, I guess you could say, they have come down to many years of honing specific skills and doing the things that I've told you need to be done. They've invested in themselves. They've researched things. They've put in hard work, and it's paid off for them. So they are examples of this lack of secret sauce and ways forward, but also you can learn from those people so that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Stop chasing the secret sauce or the quick fix. Look at the long game. Study, learn, practice, and grow. The people who don't want to dedicate themselves to really learning this and investing in whatever it is, whether it's being an author, because that's really what this podcast and channel is all about, if it's about being a fencer, I teach historical fencing. If it's being a fencer, it doesn't really matter what it is. You have to look at the long game, and you have to dedicate yourself to that. And the people who dedicate themselves to that long game will make progress forward. And the people who don't want to do that will learn quickly that maybe this isn't the right game for them. Maybe they aren't cut out to be an author because they look at this and say, wow, that's an awful lot of work that I don't want to do. All right, that's fine. I'm not going to say that those people are bad or wrong, and sometimes those people are making the best choice for themselves. Like, if that's not going to be their thing, finding that out early and addressing that is a very important and healthy thing to do. So don't take that as shame on anybody who does the work and realizes, maybe this ain't for me. But the people who do dedicate to it, if you find that this is where you want to be, if this is what you want to do, if this is that space, you can climb that mountain a step at a time. You're going to keep your eyes forward. You're going to follow the paths of people who've come before you, as long as they're going in the same direction you are, because sometimes those paths will take turns that you just shouldn't continue down because that's not your journey. But you can follow those paths as far and long as you can, because you don't need to cut them yourself. They already exist. And keep moving. Keep trying. There is no secret sauce. But that doesn't mean you can't make something amazing and be successful at it. That's pretty much where we are this week. I've had a lot on my mind, obviously. American politics being what it is. There's been a lot happening. And so, I haven't been as updating my social media as much as possible, but I do have an upcoming speaking event happening at Landmark College in Vermont. I'm going to be speaking with Write Publish Sell in April. I'm going to be doing a talk for them, which I'm really excited about. I'm going to be starting to do work with Written Well and doing some exciting things with them, so I'm going to be making some courses for authors and that kind of fun stuff. And also, of course, there are my books. There is the How to Write the Damn Book and How to Publish the Damn Book. They are available. You can find them wherever books are sold, honestly. And you can also probably ask your library to order them because I explicitly included library distribution. So if you can't afford them and can't afford to buy them, ask your local library to, because authors get paid when you check things out from the local library. So it helps everybody, honestly. And there's my fiction. If you need to escape all of the things going on right now, well, you can escape into my urban fantasy thriller universe, the Boston Blight universe. There are 3 books out, and a whole bunch of short stories floating around. You will find all of those on my website, ehprobilski.com, and I will provide links to that down in the space with the stuff, and the show notes, and all that other stuff. So, thank you. I will see you next week. Stay safe, everybody. It's a lot right now, so please stay safe, stay sane, make sure you take breaks, drink water, take your medication. And I will see you here next week.